Hopefully it isn't too far away. Vision has just left the session. Hopefully he can rejoin as soon as possible. Right, where's the stream? Shouldn't be too far away. There it is there. Stream's up. Yep, audio is working as it should. The stream's up, the chat's up, we're all good to go. That's absolutely fantastic. Hello everyone, and welcome to round 15, the championship finale of the PlayStation Pacific Tier 1 Championship here on Race Spec Esports. I'm LaneEveringham, your commentator for this event, and this time we're racing at the Jeddah Corniche circuit for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Ever since its introduction to the Formula One world in 2021, Jeddah has become recognised as one of the most demanding, dramatic and controversial racetracks on the calendar. The circuit, designed by Carsten Tilke, son of Hermann Tilke, is 6.17 kilometres long and consists of 27 corners, the most of any racetrack on the schedule. Now, I have just noticed something here. I'll rudely interrupt myself just to check the Discord. No, nothing available. Okay. I was having a feeling we might be restarting the session. Turns out I'm wrong. It's just a few people have dropped out. Hopefully they're able to rejoin as soon as possible. Yes, the circuit, designed by Carsten Tilke, it's 6.17 kilometres long, consists of 27 corners, the most of any racetrack on the calendar. Of those 27 corners, the majority of them are medium to high speed sweepers. The most noteworthy of those are the demanding S's in the first sector, formed by turns 4 through 12. The circuit also features 3 DRS zones that lead into the prime overtaking areas of turn 1, turn 22, and turn 27. Drivers will need to take full advantage of these areas, as this is a sprint round. With 2 races to do and plenty of points on the table, hopefully we get to see an exciting conclusion to this championship season. Now, before we focus on this qualifying session here, there's some important news to go through first from last week's race in Australia. There was only a single incident report of note, but an incredibly important one at that, involving GeForce Ford and GeForce Crichton, the 2 championship protagonists. It was a collision down at turn 11 that we witnessed on stream, where Crichton dive-bombed it down the inside, hitting Ford, who was sent off the road into the gravel trap. Crichton claimed that the overtake was fair from his point of view. Ford, he claimed, well, the opposite of that. He was unfairly done. And the stewards favoured Ford's point of view. And Crichton was awarded a 5-second time penalty and 1 penalty point for the incident. This would mean he would be relinquished of his race win and would finish second. GeForce Ford will take victory in Australia. It would mean what would be an 11-point gap between the top 2 and the Drivers' Championship has turned to a 25-point gap, with Fordy leading the way on 370, followed by Crichton on 345. For Fordy, he's got an exceptionally comfortable margin for this event. I said there's plenty of points on the table, but 25-point lead is quite a big one. So all that Fordy needs to do is have a mistake-free race, keep out of trouble, keep out of the barriers, and just get to the finish, whilst not trying to lose Crichton, because Crichton, his goal is a bit more complicated. He needs the perfect race here at Saudi Arabia. He needs to win the sprint. He needs to win the main race. He needs to get fastest lap to give himself the best possible chance of challenging Ford for the driver's title. For the rest of the standings, it looks like this. Leo is in 3rd place with Spicy. The 2 McLarens are on 211 points. Next is iContrast on 172, followed by Plebs on 169, Spilly on 130, Ferrari Pro on 118, and Darren 11 on 93, and Isaac Kush completing the top 10 on 90 points. In the Constructors, the battle is on as well. Ferrari leading the way on 447 points, followed by McLaren on 422. 25 points also separate the top 2 in the Constructors' Championship. So both teams need a pretty solid round here in Saudi Arabia, especially McLaren if they want any hope of taking the Constructors' Championship away from Ferrari. Next is Mercedes-Benz on 392. I do believe mathematically they're still in it, but they need both Ferrari and McLaren to score nothing in both races and for themselves to score big in the two in the 2 races available tonight. Noisy neighbour things. That's what that is. Dude on a dirt bike with a loud exhaust. 4th in the Constructors is Alpine on 239, followed by AlphaTauri on 196. Then Alfa Romeo on 180. Haas is next on 155. Then Williams 5 points behind on 150. Followed by Red Bull Racing, also 5 points behind on 145. Completing the top 10 is Aston Martin on 50 points. But that's pretty much it in terms of news. We can now focus on this qualifying session. Hello, Marty Wombat. Hello, KD. Nice to see you both in the chat. Hopefully you two get to see what should hopefully be an exciting conclusion to this championship season. It's been quite the one to watch, and it's really been stood out by 2 drivers in particular, the top 2 in the Drivers' Championship. Ford and Crichton have had a perfect run in terms of race wins together. Out of the 14 main races so far, Ford has won 8 of them, Crichton has won 6. Nobody else in Pacific Tier 1 has won a Grand Prix. This is everybody else's final chance to try and claim that win. Otherwise, it's going to be a perfect season for GeForce Ford and GeForce Crichton. But those 2 drivers have been on exceptional form, especially Ford. He's looked in fantastic touch. Tell you what, we're going to keep an eye on him. He's going to begin a flying lap here through turns 1 and 2. Take a look, we're right on board. Give you a tour of the racetrack. Around turn 3, up towards turn 4, 7th gear, back down to 5th gear. Cuts a healthy amount of racetrack at turn 4, around turn 5, into turn 6, around turn 7, into turn 8, up towards turn 9, modulating the throttle and brake at the same time. Try and claw your way around the corners. Out of turn 12 here, this little left-hander, and up towards turn 13, a long left-hand sweeper. You have to be so careful with how you apply the throttle here. You applied it too early, you will spin out. Around turn 14, up towards turn 15, and into the tricky chicane of turn 16 and 17. Up towards turn 18 now, and around the right-hander of turn 19. Through turn 21, we'll open DRS. So turn 20 up towards turn 21. Now into turns 22 and 23, another fast chicane. Very easy to abuse track limits a bit too much, and cops warnings through there. Around turn 25, up towards turn 26, and then the final corner, turn 27. Get hard on the brakes, bring it down through the gears, down to 4th gear. Hit the apex pretty spot on. Carry nice speed on the exit. You'll open DRS and head up towards the line. Crichton set a 28.4. Ford goes to the top with a 27.816. He's only half a second quicker than the next car, which is currently Spicy, with a 28.3. Now, normally I would introduce my co-commentator, who is GeForce Pato, but he has recently caught COVID, so yeah, he will not be able to attend tonight, so I'm on my own. Yeah, correct. KD, WTF, that is a fast lap. 27.8. That is a message and a half from GeForce 4. That is the kind of form he's in. He's been untouchable in qualifying, and when he leads from the front in the races, he is equally untouchable, and that will be his main goal. Qualify well, start on the front row, get a good start, lead into turns 1 and 2. And as soon as he does that, he's almost as good as golden. He is literally next to untouchable. Down the main straightaway goes Bags Liddell in the other Ferrari. I'm sure he'll be hoping to perform well here for the sake of the Constructors' Championship. He is involved in it. Ferrari leading the way, and McLaren in hot pursuit, 25 points behind. The 2 McLarens have been exceptionally consistent this year, Spicy and Leo. In fact, so much so they're currently tied in the Drivers' Championship on 211 points. So there's a bit of bragging rights to be won over at McLaren. Will it be the ever-consistent Spicy or Leo, who has demonstrated incredible raw pace in the past, but as he's mentioned in a few post-race interviews, it hasn't quite clicked for him just yet. Hopefully he can find that click here in Saudi Arabia. Through the chicane of turns 16 and 17 goes Bags Liddell as I Contrast has left the session again. Silverford has jumped up to P3 with a 1 minute 28.351. We have got 4 cars in the 28.3s. Spicy, Silver 4, GeForce Leo, and Eye Contrast. Then it's a 10th back to Crichton in P6, who really needs a decent qualifying here. He needs to at least qualify second. If he can't catch up to Ford during this qualifying session, he needs to start on the front row to give himself a shot of leading into turn 1. Up towards the line goes Bags Liddell. He'll cross it to set a 29.1, 11th quickest on the time board so far. Oh, big moment for Luke. Great catch. Awesome catch to keep that out of the barrier. Slammed on the brakes to slow the car down. I was almost certain he was going to do a Mick Schumacher impression there, but he did a brilliant job of keeping it out of the wall. Hilla's getting himself ready. Bagsy Della's on an in-lap. Broke Vegan has decided to join us today. Number one fan of F1 Ferrari Pro, who is currently P7. He's making his way around the track as I speak. Up towards the final corner for Broke Vegan. Currently P9 with a 28.8. Third gear, short shifting up to fourth. And now up towards the line. He'll open DRS. Will he go into the pits? No, he's going to complete this lap. It's going to be a 28.651. He improves by 0.2, but stays 9th fastest. Must be a tad bit disheartening when you improve by that much and you only maintain position. I've had that happen to me on a few occasions. Not the best feeling in the world. Hello, ACW. Nice to see you here as well. Like I said to those before you, ACW, hopefully you get to enjoy this season finale. At Jeddah. Got a healthy sized field as well. 17 cars, a bit better than last week, which is really, really good to see. And hopefully everyone enjoys their final race for this season. As Crichton crosses the line to begin a flying lap. He needs a big lap here. He needs to improve by at least half a second. He needs to get up to P2 as a bare minimum. Around turn 3, up towards turn 4. We know how quick Crichton can be, and he is going to send it here through turn 4, around turn 5, up towards turn 6. He's lost the back end. The car did not cooperate with him at all, and he will back out of this flying lap. I'm almost certain of it, but the car, it was not cooperating with him whatsoever. Under acceleration around turn 5. I have a feeling he understeered a bit too much at turn 4, because I noticed how much room was left on the inside of the left-hander at turn 4. He could have cut a little bit more, and he had to use quite a lot of the inside of turn 5. And I think that's just sort of compromised his run through the section. Yeah, not a lot of people have enjoyed F1 22. Myself included. I think a lot of people are in the same boat. GeForce Ford is making his way around turn 13. Oh, he's rubbing up against the wall. I think he quite literally rubbed up against the wall there. I heard it. So he was carrying a lot of speed. Too much speed, in fact. He might have backed out of this flying lap attempt. We'll see what the clock says here to the middle sector. Making his way through. There's a Haas in front. Clock says he's down, but not by much. But that Haas is not getting out of the way. That is Karma. He is the only Haas, and Karma is on a lap or on an in-lap. Yeah, no, I don't think 40 would be too impressed. Oh, hello, McLaren. How are you doing? That would be spicy. Leo is still in the pits. Around the final corner and back onto the main straightaway. 40 will open DRS and head towards the line. No, he's heading into the pits, so he was distracted by Karma's Haas. Cost him time, so he bows out of the lap. Darren 11 currently P3. Currently 1 second off his best time so far, so he's on an in-lap. Plebs, are you on a flyer? Doesn't look like it. I think he just set one at 28.553. Hilles, it looks like you are on an in-lap. You just ran wide there. Vision might be on an in-lap. He's on a flying lap, I think, right now. He's not using any battery. And he does have just under 4 minutes left in qualifying. So if he does go for a flying lap here, right now, he won't have enough time to do an in-lap and then get back out. So what does he do? Does he go for it? No, he comes in. That's a sensible call. You can get on another set of fresh soft compound tyres and time yourself towards the end of the session so you can get the most out of the conditions. Luke currently last, P17, hasn't got a time next to his name, making his way through the first sector around turns 11 and 12, where we saw Mick Schumacher have that massive shunt in this year's real-life Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. A proper huge shunt through that corner. You do have to be careful when you're exiting turn 10 and going through turn 11. That inside curve is elevated, so if you get through it just that little bit wrong, can lose the back end, like Luke did during this qualifying session. You can end up in the barrier, but Luke did an awesome job stopping the car and not ending up in the barrier. He's actually doing quite a good job right now on this lap. He's keeping it tidy, keeping it within track limits. His pace looks pretty good right now. I'll be interested to see what his time looks like here at the end of the lap. Making his way around turn 26 and up towards the final corner, turn 27. Hard on the brakes, down to third gear. Does he short shift? Doesn't bother. Gets right up against the wall there. Nice and aggressive at the exit of the final corner, carrying huge speed down the main straight. And it's P10. He's just behind his teammate by 32 thousandths of a second. It's not much at all, separating the two Alpines at the moment. Got eye contrast getting ready. That would be Bags Liddell in that Ferrari. G-Force Ford is still in the pits. Crichton is making his way out. Ferrari Pro getting himself ready. There is Karma in the Haas just behind, but it will be Ferrari Pro who will be the first to attempt their final flying lap in this qualifying section. The final flying lap of the Pacific Tier 1 Championship. Quite a demanding lap at that. Around the final corner and down the main straightaway he goes. He'll open DRS. Take a nice wide line to try and carry as much speed down the main straight as possible. Now down towards turn 1. Entry speed 334 kilometers an hour. Down to third gear. Keeps it in third through turn 2. He short shifts on the exit to try and find traction around turn 3. Now into the notorious S section. Turns 4. The right-hander of turn 5. Around turn 6. Turn 7. Turn 8. Big lift there. Down to fifth gear for turn 9. Around turn 10. Well done there from Ferrari Pro. That looked pretty spot on. First sector says he's up by just over 1/10 of a second. Around turn 13, fourth gear, short shifting up to fifth. Gets right up towards the wall. Not as close as G-Force Ford, but a pretty tidy run out of the left-hand sweeper. Through the chicane, turn 16 and 17. Using a healthy amount of curb, getting close to the wall on the exit as well. Now it's just foot to the floor stuff as we head towards the key chicane of turns 22 and 23. Clock says to the middle sector, he's lost time, but he's still up overall, up by 66 thousandths of a second. Crichton getting himself ready. He's heading down the main straightaway to start his final flying lap. Silverfort has invalidated this flying lap. He will not be able to improve. Spicy through turn 4, making his way around turn 5. Now into the meat of this X section. Do have to be so careful through here as Wogboy retires in the pit lane. He'll be starting at best P16. First sector says for Spicy, he is up by 46 thousandths of a second. 40, he's coming up towards the first sector split. He's up by 1/10 of a second to the first sector. Darren 11 has retired, and I believe he's done that in the S's. He's crashed. You can see his car stationary there at turn, I believe that's turn 5. I wonder if Crichton was distracted by that. I'm not sure. He's right up against the wall at the exit to turn 13, rubbing up against the wall. Through the chicane, turn 16, 17, really chucking it in. The car looks unstable, and he glances the wall there. This has been untidy from Crichton. He is pushing so hard right now, trying to find every 10th he can, and he's only up by 47 thousandths to the middle sector. Leo's making his way around the final sector. So is G-Force Ford. So is Spicy in P4. Can he improve? He will set a 28 flat. It's good enough for P3. Here comes Ford to the line. It is a 27.465. Leo improves to a 27.9. But what an awesome lap time from G-Force Ford. 27.465. That is a huge blow for Crichton, and what's even worse, is that he's starting from P9. He is starting from the middle of the field. This race needed to be perfect. If he wants any shot of winning this championship, he needs to score maximum points. You're not scoring maximum points from P9. He has got a lot of work to do. There's the mega lap. He is a whopping 5/10 faster than the next car. Half a second. That is a humongous margin. And what a statement. That is the form this man is in. He is oozing confidence. He looks dead set unstoppable. There we are. The results from qualifying, and the numbers speak for themselves. Ford qualifies on pole with a 127.4. GeForce Leo, GeForce compatriot, will start from the front row after setting a 27.9. Spicy is next from P3, followed by Darren 11 and Plebs. Silverford is next, followed by iContrast and Ferrari Pro. Crichton P9 with a ton of work to do. Luke P10, followed by Broke Vegan. Vision, Hilles, Karma, Bags Liddell, Wogboy, and Roscoe Arm will start from the very back. Five tenths. Yep. OP. 5/10. 5/10. That is what confidence looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Confidence, form. I mean, we've always known that Mr. Ford is an incredibly talented racer. But everything's clicking for him right now. Everything. He is on so much form right now that he is on a different planet compared to everybody else. Now, I do remember during the end phases of that qualifying session, I do believe Darren 11 retired at turn 5. I think he had an accident. And Crichton did make his way through that yellow flag section. He might have got distracted. He might have lost time through that section. I'm not 100% sure. But still, a huge effort from Ford, and his main rival is buried in the middle of the pack. This is exactly what Fordy needs. The last thing he needs right now is a bad start. That's the very last thing he needs right now. He needs a nice start. He needs to get in front of Leo into turn 1. If he does that, with the form Fordy's in, it's like what happens when you see someone like Lewis Hamilton get into the lead. When they're in front, they're in complete control. And they just drive away. That's the sort of form he's on. If Leo wants to win this sprint race, he's got to make sure Fordy doesn't lead into turn 1. And he doesn't lead out of turn 3. He needs to get in front. So, everyone should be on the medium compound tyre for this sprint. Minus Roscoe. That's understandable from Roscoe's point of view. You're starting 17th. Might as well save a set. Might as well. Because knowing Jeddah, the main race is going to be dramatic as anything. Because it's Jeddah. So, I mean, just look at the circuit. You've got high-speed bends and S's. You've got concrete walls that literally line the edge of the racetrack. High average speed corners. And with a wall design similar to something like Monaco, where the walls are just lining everywhere around the edges of the racetrack, there is absolutely no margin for error at all. And I think that margin for error is the only thing that's going to stop Ford from winning this championship. Even if Crichton got a decent qualifying, with the point margin he has, all he needs to do is complete 2 mistake-free races, and he's won the championship. It is down to Ford himself to lose the championship. Pretty much. It would need a mistake from Ford, and with the form he's on, he's not been making a lot of mistakes recently. So, and Crichton. Oh, I hate to be anyone in front of Crichton right now. Crichton is not going to muck around for a moment. All 17 cars are lined up ready to race. We got 9 fast, intense laps in front of us and 10 red lights. The sprint race is underway. It's a nice start once again from G-Force Ford. He's got a clear track into turn 1 and will lead the field from Plevs, who moves himself into P2. What a start from the Alpine driver. Out to turn 3, now into the S's of turns 4 and 5. Crichton up to P6 now. Spicy battling Darren. Through the S's we go, around turn 6, around turn 7, into turn 8, and around turn 9. Nice start there from Crichton, making up a few spots early. That's what he needs to do. He needs to attack, get to the front. He needs to make bold moves, unorthodox moves, catch his rival snapping. It's a tidy start from our race leaders. It's a tidy start from everybody. Not a hint of drama from what I could see. But what a fantastic start from Plevs. He's up into P2, 6/10 behind G-Force Ford. Luke gets by Silderfort, so Luke into P9. Will bring up the position. Oh, something's happened to Karma. He's around that turn 17. He gets pointed back in the right direction, but he's now lost a whole heap of time. Around turn 24, around turn 25, Ford. He's a dangerous man with a clear track in front of him. Plevs has got a lot of work to do to keep up. Leo's lost a little bit of time to Plevs. The gap has increased. As Crichton, look at that. That's the kind of aggressive move he is famous for. Big send down the inside, and he wiggles around the racetrack, trying to break the toe from Spicy so he can't counterattack into turn 1. So Crichton now into P5. His next target is Darren 11. Fortunately, Crichton and Darren get along pretty well. But Darren won't make it easy, I would think. He's not going to roll out the red carpet for Crichton. Hopefully that interval graphic can stop glitching out between Ferrari Pro and Luke. Hopefully that starts working accordingly. So after the opening lap, Crichton's up 4 positions. Plevs up 3 with that awesome start off the line. Biggest losers, Spicy down 3, Silderfort down 4. Karma, after his spin, is stone dead last, 8 seconds behind the next car. And unless something happens, something real dramatic happens during this race, Karma is going to be staying in last position, I would think, through this flat out section. Need low wings through here, try and maximize top speed. We head towards the tricky turns of turn 22 and 23. It is possible to make overtakes through here, as the Elite Series demonstrated. It is possible to make moves at turn 22, but you need to be 110% committed to try and make it work. Around the final corner and down the main straightaway. This leading group, they're a bit too far apart to battle one another just yet. Towards the mid-pack, it's a bit more bunched up. But now DRS is enabled, and you can see with this long train of cars, we're just going to have one massive DRS train. No one in here is going to be making any moves. Luke looks quick behind Ferrari Pro right now, but even so, it's going to be very tough to get by the Williams. Here we go through the S's now, having to deal with the dirty air from the car in front. It's not easy to deal with. Around turn 8, around turn 9. See, from Ferrari Pro point of view, very tidy. Not so much from Spicy though. Saw him run wide at the exit of turn 10. He had to cut turn 11. Crichton. It's going to be tough to catch up to Darren that far back. He needs to win or bin it, I think, at this point. Oh, you can see he's just about bin it there. Tapping the wall at the exit of turn 17. He is pushing like hell. Lovely aerial shot here, looking down at the racetrack. Looking at the Red Sea as well, which this circuit runs next to. And runs over, you can see here, through this section, through turns 25 and 26, you can see the drivers run in the middle of the red seats. Quite a cool feature of the racetrack. Around the final corner, turn 27, Leo is closing in on Plevs. Plevs with no DRS is somewhat vulnerable. Leo's taking advantage of it. Bags Liddell has had an incident, and Leo's now into second. That is not good for Ferrari and their constructors' hopes. But fortunately for them, Fordy's out in front, and he's now got 1.8 seconds to the car behind. Leo making his way through the S's now. He's got a clear track in front of him. He's got clear air. Can he try and pull away from Plevs, or has Plevs got enough car speed to keep up with Leo and potentially re-overtake him in one of the 3 DRS zones around the racetrack? We're heading around turn 13. As I mentioned earlier, it's a tricky corner. You don't want to get too early on the throttle through here. The back end can step out on you. You can spin and end up in the barrier through turn 16 and 17. Both corners you have to be exceptionally careful of. You don't want to turn too early into turn 16. Otherwise, you'll bump the inside barrier. Similar story with turn 17, except for the fact instead of bumping a barrier, you get a track limits warning if you cut too much of 17. Through 22 and 23, saw Darren there run a tad bit wide. It's cost him a few hundredths. It won't phase him too much. He's still got DRS. Speaking of which, Plevs is closing in with DRS, heading towards the final corner, deep under brakes here, chucking it around the final turn as Ferrari Pro and Contrast battle for position. They're side by side exiting the hairpin. You can see the flashing red light on the back of the AlphaTauri. Contrast is low on battery, and Ferrari Pro slingshots by. Plevs around the outside of turn 1, down the inside of turn 2, gets his Alpine in front, and he's back into P2. Oh, a bit of a moment there from Crichton, losing the back end at turn 2. Leo looking around, trying to find a way back by the Alpine, but can't find a way by. He has to stay behind and stay in P3. Using plenty of curb there, Crichton. That was close to a warning. He heads around turn 12 and up towards turn 13. He is chipping away at that gap. He is closing in on Darren. Now, to note as well, if the gap increases to 31 points, Ford will win this championship. Because even on countback, even if the championship is a tie, Crichton would lose the championship. Ford has got 8 wins. Crichton has got 6. In order for Crichton to score maximum points, he would need to get a race win. That would increase his tally to 7. 7 doesn't beat 8, unfortunately. So if the championship were to result in a draw, Ford would win. So the only way Crichton can win the championship is by outscoring Ford. And look at this, he's having a go down the inside of Leo here at the final corner. He's being balked by Darren. Oh, he loses the back end. Great catch there. Great catch, and he slots back in behind the McLaren of Leo. Got too eager on the throttle, lost the back end. Yellows are out. I believe it's Hilles and Bags Liddell. No, sorry, Roscoe in the Aston Martin. Down the inside goes Crichton. He's into P4. Darren 11 is into P2. He now leads the train. Meanwhile, Ford has got a 3-second lead. Round turn 4. Into turn 5. Look how tightly packed this train is. One single mistake and we're going to have a multi-car pile up here. But these guys are too good. Keeps the car straight. They all get through. Nicely done. So yes, Hilles had a moment. No damage from what I can see on the Mercedes. Roscoe, I do believe, was involved in that as Bags Liddell gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That will hurt him. That will push him back. Look at this. Out in front, doing what he does best. 3.3 seconds. Awesome job so far. Darren 11 in P2. Making his way through the chicane. Around turn 24 up towards 25. Plevs will have DRS and will be closing in. There's Crichton in P2. The two McLarens are going at it. These two are tied in the Drivers' Championship, so there's some bragging rights to fight for at McLaren. Down the main straightaway. DRS open on Plevs' Alpine. Closing in bit by bit. 10th by 10th as he heads towards turn 1. Not closing in by enough, though, to attack into the opening corner. Meanwhile, Broke Vegan and I Contrast are battling for position through turn 1. The other AlphaTauri of Vision is getting involved here as they go around turn 3. Vision is very close, but not close enough to get by as we head towards turn 4. Or gets very, very close again to Broke Vegan's diffuser there. It doesn't touch it, and he stays in P12. Darren 11, a 3-second time penalty as Roscoe Arm has a moment. That is at turn 3, and he's now down to last. Oh, and he's got complete front wing damage. No safety car from it, though. No safety car. We don't have the laps remaining anyway for a safety car period to happen. Through these high-speed kinks here at the back end of the racetrack. See Plebs just hovering behind. Around the final part of the lap, turns 25 and 26, up towards turn 27. Plebs 4/10 behind. Can he go for the move here? He's got DRS open. I don't think he's closing in by enough to really challenge Darren here into turn 1. He will stay behind. Bro Vegan gets by our Contrast. That's for P10. That's for the final point scoring spot as well in this sprint race. Crichton. Oh, yellows. Yellow, yellow, yellow. That is our Contrast spinning at turn 2. Gets pointed back in the right direction. Here comes Wogboy. He might get by here. Here we go, up towards turn 4. He's got speed. Oh, he can't find a way by. On eye Contrast returned to the racing line. Wogboy was on said racing line and he had to slow down to avoid contact as Roscoe retires in the pits. He's had enough of this sprint race. So he'll start from the very back in the main race. Adam front dominating, Ford still leading the way, keeping out of trouble. Darren 11 in P2. Plebs P3, Crichton P4. Leo is right on the back of Crichton as well. Not over between the two G-Force drivers as they go through 22 and 23. Around turn 25 now. Crichton losing ground. He's losing battery as well. It's hurting him. Leo not close enough to attack into the final corner. The leader begins the final lap and sets the fastest lap of the race as well, a 29.9. He is on form. Here comes Plebs. Not close enough to go for a move. I'm sure Crichton's getting a bit frustrated. He probably wants Plebs to try and attack Darren so he can have a go at P2 himself. But Plebs is driving smartly. Biding his time, and he knows Darren has a time penalty next to his name. So he doesn't necessarily have to worry about Darren. Plebs has to worry about the man behind him, G-Force Crichton. Down towards turn 13, this long left-hand sweeper. See Crichton just not close enough to attack Plebs. Because he's stuck in that third position of the DRS train, he cannot attack the car in front. He is stuck there. Through the chicane of 16 and 17. Now through these high-speed kinks. For the final time in this sprint, DRS open for Plebs. He's closing the gap. Not by enough to attack Darren into 22. Through the high-speed chicane. Now around this flat-out section, around the Red Sea and up towards the final corner. Plebs looking around the outside. He'll take the position, I would think. Darren tries to fight back. 40, meanwhile, will cross the line to win the sprint. Plebs, he overtakes Darren to try and take P2. Crichton closing in. He'll finish in third place, a very commendable third at that. Darren drops all the way down to P8. G-Force Leo finishes in fourth. Ferrari Pro in fifth. Spicy sixth. Luke seventh. Darren 11 in eighth. Still the fourth, ninth. Broke Vegan will round out the top 10 and the point scoring places. But this will be a 2-point swing in Ford's favour. It will increase the gap to what is now 27 points in Ford's favour. So, the results from the sprint. G-Force Ford outraced winner. Plebs in P2. Crichton, great recovery after qualifying ninth. He finishes in the top 3 and gives himself a shot of a race win during the main event. G-Force Leo P4, followed by Ferrari Pro and Spicy. Luke P7, followed by Darren 11. Those 3 seconds cost him dearly. Next to Silverford P9, then Broke Vegan in 10th. And outside of the points, we have Eye Contrast, Vision, Wogboy Karma, Hillez, Bags Liddell, and Roscoe Arm, who retired. He'll be starting from the back of the grid in 17th position. Right, main race time. This ought to be interesting. So 2-point swing in Ford's favour there. Huge result for himself in the context of this championship. Huge. Now, main race time. It'll be interesting to see who starts on what tyre for this event. Will we see drivers start on the hard compound tyre, try and go long initially? Or will we see drivers use the medium compound tyre? From what I understand, the mediums can actually last a fairly lengthy amount of time around this racetrack. So, it'll be interesting to see who does what in terms of strategy. And I just want to note as well, so that would be 7 plus 5. So that's a 2-point swings in McLaren's favour. Ferrari now only lead by 23 in the constructors' tables, so it's a small swing in their favour. Realistically, they need Ford to have a really bad race, really bad main race here at Jeddah, in order to have any shot of winning the constructors. And it's a bit of a similar story in the drivers' championship as well. We'll run through the order quickly and we'll see who's starting on what tyre, and it's a bit of a mix and match for this one. So, top 3, we have G-Force Ford, our championship leader, as the 2 McLarens and Luke have been disqualified from the session. They will have cold tyres for the start of this race. That is quite a huge blow for the McLaren Giro. They need warm tyres for the sake of the start. Alright, that's interesting. Yes, the top 3, Ford, Plebs and Crichton, all starting on the mediums. G-Force Leo is starting on hard tyres, which are going to feel horrible for the start of this race. Ferrari Pro doing the same in P5, but hopefully he will get his up to temperature. Spicy and Luke are the next 2 cars. They're both starting on mediums. Darren is next, starting on the hard tyres. Silverford P9 starting on mediums. Then the next 4 cars, Broke Vegan, Eye Contrast, Vision and Wogboy are all starting on the hard tyre. Karma next, starting on the mediums in P14. Hillez on the hard tyre in P15. Bags Liddell P16, the last car to start on the medium tyre. And Roscoe Arm, starting from the back, is starting on the hard tyre. Rightio. So that means we've got 2, 5, 8 drivers starting on the mediums. That means 9 drivers are starting on the hards. Alright, so almost a 50-50 split in terms of tyre strategy. Let's see who gets it right, shall we? Of course, if we have any safety cars during this event, it's going to play havoc with the strategies. If we have an early safety car, might favour the medium runners. Although in saying that, like I said, the mediums can go a fairly long way in this race. So maybe an early safety car might benefit the hard runners so they can move on to the mediums sooner. I don't know. Honestly, I do not know. It'll be interesting to see how this will all unfold. Championship leader by 27 points. G-Force Ford will line up on pole position. Players will line up on the second row. Ford's rival Crichton starting P3 directly behind Ford. Crichton needs the mother and father of all race starts here. Alrighty, for the final time in this Tier 1 Championship season, we have 10 red lights, and we are underway. It's a nice start from Plevs once again, who has the whole shot into turn 1. He will try and lead. Ford will fight down the inside of turn 2, or Williams running wide. That'll be Ferrari Pro. The leaders are too wide, and spinning is Ferrari Pro at the exit of turn 3. Around the outside goes Ford and Crichton. Crichton into P2. He's now directly behind Ford, heading around turn 6, turn 7, into turn 8 now, and around turn 9. But what a horrible start for Ferrari Pro. Losing control at the exit of turn 2, and he plummets down to last position, down to P6. Oh, a big send from Crichton. An authoritative send, and he takes the lead. My goodness, that is a statement. Crichton is not mucking around. Ford has got speed though, and he's back. He's right on the back of Crichton's gearbox. Foot to the floor stuff here as they head around turn 19, around turn 20. 40's closing in, looking left and right. You can't really pass here though at turn 22. You can see that he's right behind the Mercedes of GeForce Crichton. There's Plevs and Silderfort as well, who's had a fantastic start, mind you. He's up 5 places. 40 with speed, trying to draw alongside Crichton's Mercedes as they head towards the final corner. Now down to the inside. Crichton goes deep. Opens up a window of opportunity for Ford as he draws alongside. Wheel to wheel here. Down the main straightaway. It's Senna and Mansell all over again. Down towards turn 1. Who will break deeper here? Will it be Ford? Will it be Crichton? Crichton breaks deep. They almost make contact, but they get through. Crichton with the advantage. 40 still there. He runs up against the wall. He tried to hang on to that battle, but he eventually had to concede. And Plevs is right there as well in P3, watching along around turn 6, around turn 7, into turn 8, and up towards turn 9. 3/10 separating the top 2. With Plevs and Silderford in hot pursuit. There is Spicy in the background as well in the McLaren. Heading around the long sweeper of turn 13. Look how close Ford runs up against the wall there. He is very comfortable getting close to the barriers. Through turn 16 and around turn 17. Now through this flat out section. Darren 11 overtaking Broke Vegan there into P7. He goes, and Karma's on the attack too. Drag racing the Red Bull. Who's got the longer legs? It's a Haas. Karma's into P8. He's had a good start too. Up 6 positions. iContrast had a solid start too. Up 5, just like Silderfort. Roscoe Arms up 6. Biggest losers. GeForce Leo down 10. Ferrari Pro I saw. I didn't see GeForce Leo. Didn't quite catch what happened to him. That's really bad luck. I wish I saw what happened to Leo. Leaders making their way down the main straightaway. It's now lap 3. DRS is now enabled. But 40, he doesn't need DRS. He's got speed. And looking round the outside of turn 1. They're cutting the track. Well, 40 mainly. But that was tight through turn 2. Crichton didn't give his rival any room there at the right-hander. Ford had to cut the track. And as a result, he could not pass Crichton for position. He had to stay in P2. But as you can see, he is all over Crichton's gearbox. And he's not letting go anytime soon. Through turn 11, through turn 12, up towards turn 13. Ford is not close enough to attack. Silderfort looking around, trying to find a way by. And with this battling, it's balking this train. Spicy's catching up, and he's now within a second of Silderfort. He's going to join this battle in a few moments. Through the chicane of turns 16 and 17. Crichton making that Mercedes as wide as possible. Too wide, maybe. I think he hit the barrier. Now Plevs is on the attack. He's got to run on Ford. He gets in front of Ford. He's into P2. There we go. Maybe 40 had a moment as well through that chicane. Maybe didn't get a great exit. I don't know. But he's down to P3 now behind Plevs, who has got some decent straight line speed, and he's got some DRS as well. He's drawing in, closing up on GeForce Crichton, as Vision has crashed out. We may have a safety car. Well, we have a virtual safety car deployed. Everybody has to slow down. Make sure they measure themselves here, measure the delta, and not do anything silly. Crichton's going into the pits. Okie dokie. Championship defining stuff here. He's in. Hard tyres at the ready. Up go the jacks, on go the tyres. He is now a pit stop in front of everybody except for Broke Vegan. Broke's in, new tyres and a new wing. Ferrari Pro has been given a 3-second time penalty. I don't know if that has worked for Crichton. I know the medium tyres can last some time, and I don't think the hards are going to have a great deal of pace. But watch Crichton prove me wrong. He's done that on more than one occasion. Plebs is now our race leader. Yellow flags are out. It is Ferrari Pro spinning. This is at turn 9, I believe. Yes, turn 9, just before turn 10. Here we go. Crichton will be closing in. He'll try and get by Ferrari Pro as soon as possible. Yellows are out again. It's a McLaren. It's Leo spinning at the exit of turn 13. He's now down to P12. His bad race start has gotten even worse. Broke Vegan has crashed. He has retired at turn 12. Do we have a safety car? Well, the game says no. He is retired on the racetrack. You can see his dot right on board here with bags like that. There it is! There it is! The safety car! It's been deployed! Has Crichton screwed himself over by pitting during that VSC? What do the leaders do? Do they stay out? Plebs comes in. Ford's in. Silderford stays out. Spicy stays out. What does Contrast do? He stays out. Or he almost thought about it. Darren stays out. Karma's in. Wild Boy stays out. We've got such a different point of view in terms of strategy. Interesting. Some drivers in, some drivers staying out. Where does Crichton come out relative to this? While Plebs and Ford are leaving the pit lane, he's going to come out in P3. He gains nothing. He is behind his rivals. Wow. What an exceptionally late call from the safety car. It waited a long, long time to decide that the safety car should be brought out. Broke Vegan's car was well and truly on the middle of the racetrack. I don't understand why it took so long for the game to decide. There we go. Well, this is interesting. A mix-up in terms of strategy thanks to an early safety car. So we have a new race leader, Silderford, now at the front. Red Bull driver on 4-lap old medium, Spicy in P2. Also on the medium tyre, Contrast P3. Followed by Darren 11 and his teammate Wogboy, the two Alfa Romeos. Hilles is next. And the first of the fresh shod race cars, Plebs in P7. Followed by Ford and Crichton. Sorry, I'm just trying to work all this stuff out. Alright. Everyone who hasn't pitted is now a pit stop behind. Roscoe and Ferrari Pro, they'll have a bit of a task going to the end on those tyres, but I do feel it's possible. You reckon, Spilly? Got the popcorn out the ready too, bud? We'll have the popcorn out regardless. This is bound to be an interesting race now because we got a mix-up in terms of strategies. We got guys who are exceptionally quick in the midfield with fresh tyres, with a whole heap of drivers in front on older tyres. And it's not like these guys are just going to roll out the red carpet and let them through. It's going to be a genuine battle for those on fresh tyres to move up through the field. It will not, oh, Plebs, for goodness sake. Oh, and 40 got close to crashing there. He's ghosting. At least I thought he was ghosting. It looked like he was ghosting. Oh. GeForce Leo has pitted again. He's made his way out now. He's got a bit of catching up to do. He's on. Oh, that doesn't help, mate. Cold tyres. That's what that was. That was cold tyres. No grip. Went straight on at turn 4. Hopefully he didn't get a warning for that. Hopefully. Is that right, 91? But I'm going to have a look. He is missing an end plate. What a spot. I didn't see that. Well done, Mighty Wombat and Raz. I did not spot that. Thank you very much. So he bonked the wall. He was ghosting for a reason. The championship leader has had an incident behind the safety car. He has bonked his front wing. You know, I said this earlier, the only person who can undo 40's championship is 40 himself, and I think this is one step towards that direction. I agree, Harass. I reckon he should pit. Especially a racetrack like this, where you need downforce. Safety cars in this lap. Oh, no. Leo's just caught up. It's a late call from the safety car. This is going to hurt Ford even more. What a huge blow. What a twist in the tail. We're back under green flag racing here at Jeddah. The championship leader peels off. He's in to repair his stricken Ferrari. And it's still the 4-2 leads. And look at this, Darren Orr almost having a go there at our contrast at turn 1. Almost got by. So Fordy getting a front wing change. He moves back on to the medium compound tyre. Oh, two cars are out. Ross Grant, Ferrari Pro are out of the race. Crashing out at the exit of turn 3. That will not bring out a safety car. It's too soon. The incident happened too soon after the safety car period ended. If that happened one lap later, there might have been a safety car. But there's no safety car for this. Look at them, both facing the wrong direction and out of the Grand Prix. Now, 40. If Crichton wins this race, I have to do some math. I'm going to keep an eye on the racing for now. I'm going to worry about the math later. Racing first. Silderfort lead. Spicy second. I contrast in third. Crichton, players battling for position here. Crichton gets in front. He's into P7. Through turn 22, 23. Round 24. Oh, look at Karma. He's under pressure here. Luke trying to draw alongside as we head around the Red Sea up towards the final corner. Luke with the inside line. Plebs covering off Karma and down the inside goes Luke into P9 and through goes Leo. Well, not quite. He is alongside though. Not anymore. He slots in behind the Haas. He's got momentum now, pulls out of the slipstream, looks to the inside here into turn 1, and he should get this position. He might get 2 if he's lucky. No, he only gets the 1. Leo now into P10. His next target is Luke in P9. Look at this midfield pack, all tightly bunched. Most of them on hard compound tyres, which have no grip because they're hard tyres. On every racetrack in this game, the hard tyres just have no grip whatsoever. So the drivers really do have to work hard, keep their cars out of the barrier. Silverford doing a good job out in front. 1.3 seconds is the gap. Leo trying to look down the inside of Luke there at turn 13. Couldn't find a way by. He has to stay behind. Around turn 14, up towards turns 15, 16 and 17. Through the chicane. All these guys getting through unscathed. And Karma got close to the wall there in the background. I saw that. He was close. Crichton trying to close in on his teammate Hillez in P6. Through the chicane. To 22 and 23. Around 24 up towards 25. The gap's 0.4 of a second. No DRS available just yet. That will come on the next lap. Around the final corner. Back onto the main straightaway. Silverfort, new fastest lap. Demonstrating the pace those medium tyres still have. They're not bad, those mediums. Saw that in Elite Series. They are not bad at all. Oh, Leo having a look. Couldn't fully commit to the move. Has to stay behind. Alrighty. Down this next straight. Up towards turn 4. Leo not close enough to attack here into the left-hander. And around turn 2. Ferrari Pro has left the session. Couldn't bother watching the race anymore from your POV, mate. No, that's understandable. Quite understandable at that. Silverford spicy. Eye contrast. Fairly spread apart at this point. Hillez under pressure from his teammate Crichton, who is still unable to find a way by. around turn 14, around turn 15, 16. Oh, a bit wide there from Wogboy. As he gets a 3-second time penalty, cutting too much of the track there at turn 17. See Crichton close, but not quite close enough to attack here into 22. Around turn 24 now, heading over the Red Sea. Crichton dumping battery. He has DRS. Where does he look? Looks to the inside. Oh, he has to follow his teammate. Will he dive his teammate? No. Doesn't fully commit to a move on his teammate. That's because Gilles won't have DRS here down the main straightaway. Crichton will, and he's dumping his battery. He wants to get by Gilles. Gilles doesn't want him to get by, though. He's dumping his battery. Down into turn 1, though. Crichton to the inside. Sends it in. Oh, it's tight. Oh, there's contact. Crichton, though, gets enough drive to get in front of Gilles. He's into P5. His next target is Darren 11 in P4. Leo, oh, he looked a bit out of sync there in P9 as Ford sets a new fastest lap, a 31.3. Through the S as we go. Oh, running a tad bit wide there, Leo, but he's keeping the car in the limits. No penalties for the McLaren driver so far. And around turn 13. Nice shot there out of the sweeper. See the cars get nice up and close to the edge of the wall. He is making a huge amount of time. Harass. Ford is flying, as you'd expect on fresh mediums. Well, relatively fresh mediums. Those mediums still have pace. They might be 7 laps old, but they still got pace. Just a matter of making them last, which is going to be extremely difficult. Darren 11, eye contrast. Changing position here. He's into P3, eye contrast down to 4th. Players right behind Crichton now. He's overtaken Gilles as Leo trying to get by Wogboy. He gets in front now. Wogboy, though, will have DRS. So does Leo. Here we go, a drag race here towards turn 1. Looks pretty even between the two cars, and as a result, Leo will hang on to P8. Wogboy has to settle for 9th. Spicy's closing in on the race leader, Silderford. 0.6 of a second, separating the top two. They head through the opening sector S's. Silderford gains time through the S's. Spicy not quite as quick through there. Evidently, the McLaren might have some pretty solid straight line speed, allowing him to gain massive time. Oh, through the straights. Big moment there from Spicy. Great catch, though. Awesome catch. Keep that thing out of the barriers. He's going to have DRS on Silderford, and he's going to gain quite a substantial bit of time here. DRS open. Look at that gap shrink. Shrinks to 0.2, 1.5. Through turn 22 and 23, the gap opens up again. But through this DRS zone, Spicy's going to close in by a chunk. We might have a new race leader here, folks, as Luke has had a moment. This is at turn 24. And there goes Bags Liddell into P11. Silderford, Spicy, battling for position here. Silderford, he can try and counter-attack down towards turn 1. He's got DRS. Has he got enough momentum? The answer is no. Crichton, meanwhile, battling plebs. Crichton gets back by into P5. But with this squabbling, he's losing time to the top 4. He's now 2 seconds behind the top 4. Wogboy pitting in. Where does he come out? He'll come out behind G-Force Ford. There he goes. But 40, I reckon, has another pit stop to make. Down towards turn 13. Silderford not close enough to do anything here. As we saw from Spicy's car, he's got some pretty decent straight line speed. What can Silderford do in response? No flashing red light on the back of the Red Bull suggests he's got a bit over 10% battery. What has he got exactly? He's got 36. So he's got a bit to play with. Leo gets a 3-second time penalty. That's his first of the night, I do believe. He's currently in P8 behind Gilles. Might be in front of Gilles in a moment. There he goes. P7 now for the McLaren driver. His next target is Plebs. Crichton, meanwhile, has not made much ground on Darren 11 and I Contrast. Still about 2.1 seconds behind. Plebs closing in. Can he attack here into the final corner? The answer is no. He stays behind. Heading around the final turn. Down the main straightaway, a bit wide there from Hilles in P8. As Silderford pits in. He's done enough on the mediums now. He's in. We'll move on to a set of hard compound tyres. Plebs closing in, but not by enough to attack into turn 1. He stays behind Crichton. Stays in his, what is now 5th position. Bags Liddell. Now move into P9. Luke, will he get by Silderford? It's going to be close on the exit. He will get in front, but for how long? Oh, a bit of a moment there from Silderford. Losing the back end. Didn't cost him too much time, though. G-Force Ford doing all that he can on those tyres. Praying for a safety car. That's what he'd be praying for. That way he can properly secure his championship. Because, yeah, with the points at the moment, he's got fastest lap as well. He's got that. Yep, he's got next to his name. And is currently P12. That's enough points. That's 5 points. That is enough. He would win the championship by 1. And with 13th, with fastest lap, that would be enough as well. Oh, you're joking. Oh, I reckon Ford pooped himself there. I wouldn't doubt it for a second. 13th with fastest lap is enough. That's 4 points. It would mean a tie if Crichton wins. But Crichton has still got a lot to deal with. He's got Plebs and Leo behind. Plebs trying to battle into turn 1. He can't find a way by the Mercedes. And now Leo closes in. He's trying to draw alongside. Can he get it? He does. He gets in front of Crichton as well. So Crichton letting Leo through. Leo now into P4. I wonder, with Crichton's game here, is he letting Leo in front so he can follow him? Oh, as Hilles has a huge moment there. He can try and follow Leo and just utilise the tow, the DRS, and maybe try and pull away from Plebs. Maybe that's his game plan there. If that is, then that's just typical Crichton. He is fast. He's a tricky bastard as well. But he's a clever one. He knows what to do to win races. Knows what to do to win championships. He's won 5 on the trot in Tier 1. So maybe, just maybe, he's using Leo as a spearhead. Try and fly away from those behind and try and build a margin. That way Crichton doesn't have to worry about the likes of Plebs and Hilles. But Plebs, he's not letting go. He's 7/10 behind still. He is right there within Crichton's slipstream. Oh, he's lost time through the final corner though, just a little bit. Needs to keep it smooth, keep it tidy, keep it on point. Just keep driving well. Darren 11, meanwhile, half a second behind Spicy, who was going an awfully long time on those medium tyres, stretching him out as far as he can dare. Through the S's we go. Nice and tidy from Darren 11. Oh, but those 3 seconds won't help. Running wide at the exit of 10. Cutting the inside of 11. That's a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He won't be too phased about that though. He'll have his sights firmly set on the McLaren in front of him. Eye contrast. Pretty tidy P3 at the moment. He still needs to make a stop. Yellows are out. It is Silderfort spinning. He's now down to P12. Any front wing damage on the Red Bull from what I can see. Nothing too obvious. Maybe he had a similar spin to what Luke had during qualifying. And maybe he kept it out of the barrier as well. Well, if Crichton wanted Leo to be a spearhead, it hasn't fully worked because Plebs is still right there. So is Hilles. So, hasn't been able to pull away. Those medium tyres are starting to slow down. starting to wear into the pits. Goes Darren 11 and Eye Contrast. Leo stays out for another lap. Maybe he'll try and take those to the end if he can. It's now a McLaren 1-2 at the beginning of lap 16. At least one of those McLarens needs to make a pit stop. That being Spicy, our race leader. Through turn 4. Around turn 5. 6/10 is the gap between Leo and Crichton. Plebs hovering behind in P4. Then it's Karma in P5. He's looking pretty solid right now. It's looking like a potential podium for him. Bags Liddell P6. Cy Luke in 7th. And the first of the medium runners. High Contrast on fresh mediums at that. He's going to be mightily fast on those tyres. G-Force Ford closing in. Hillhead's running wide. 40 closing in, dumping battery, but not closing in by enough to attack Hillhead's here. Nice run out of the sweeper. And around turn 14 up towards turns 15, 16 and 17. Cutting plenty of the track there, using all of the curb. He'll have DRS and he will be closing in. Maybe not by enough to attack into turn 22, but he can certainly try a pass with DRS heading around the Red Sea. And Spicy is now into the pits. He's making his crucial pit stop in this race. And what does he move on to? That's another question. 40 moves into 9th. He moves on to the soft tyre. I had a feeling he might do that. It'd be interesting to see how it fares during these final stages of this event. That means our new race leader is G-Force Leo on 11 lap old mediums. I don't know whether he will make it to the end. He'll certainly try and do that, that's for sure. And Spicy comes out P5. He is in front of Bags Liddell and Sire Luke, who are battling for position. So Spicy's got a clear track in front, and he's got 7.7 seconds to Karma. Now, if Leo makes a pit stop, that would put Karma P3. Leo looks tidy. Bags Liddell, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He's trying to hold off Luke as best he can. Leo's still got pace on that tyre. In fact, he is pulling away. Gap is 9/10. Crichton will close the gap thanks to DRS as they head through turns 22 and 23. And around turn 25 up towards turn 26. Crichton gaining just enough time to stay within that crucial 1 second range. Now Luke, I reckon he's going to line up a pass here. DRS open. Draws alongside the Ferrari. He will get in front of the Ferrari. It is P6 for Luke now. They head around the final corner and back on to the main straightaway. Bit of weaving from Luke, trying to break the toe as Bags Liddell closes in. DRS open as Eye Contrast sets a new fastest lap and takes a point away from Ford, who moves into the pit lane side by side through turn 2 up towards turn 3. Bags has the inside line for turn 4 and he's in front for turn 4. He takes the position. So 40 now moves down to 13th place. Without that fastest lap, it won't be enough. Crichton would win by 1 point. All he needs to do is overtake G-Force Wogboy, who does have a time penalty. 3 seconds, I believe, Wogboy has. No, sorry, 11 seconds. He's got a lot of time penalties. So realistically here for Ford, all he needs to do is get through these laps without making a mistake. And he should win the championship, only just so. Crichton 7/10 behind, 40 in front. Sorry, Leo in front, stretching those tyres. Luke gets by Liddell. P6 is his. But I'm sure Bags is going to fight back through the S's. Around turn 24, up towards 25. Eye Contrast is closing in. He's going to get involved in this scrap. Up towards the final turn. Liddell looking around the outside. Luke holds the inside line. Out to the final corner. Oh, he shuts the door there. And now Contrast. He's got speed. Spicy's got speed too. New fastest lap for him. A 30.7. Down the main straightaway towards turn 1. Down the inside looks like Contrast. Dives it in. Gets in front. P6 is his. Around turn 3. Up towards turn 4. Checking it through the S section. A bit wide there from Luke. He keeps it tidy through turn 6, through turn 7 and around turn 8. Crichton, 8/10 behind Leo. Leo's still got decent pace. Hiller's got a 3-second time penalty. Plevs hovering behind. Half a second behind Crichton. They go through this flat out section towards turn 22. Through they go, around turn 23, around turn 24. Thanks to the DRS from Leo's McLaren, it's keeping Plevs at bay. Crichton doesn't have to worry too much about Plevs. He only has to worry when he drops outside of that 1 second range to Leo, but of course Leo's still got a bit of a question mark whether or not he can get to the end on those tyres. Be interesting to see what happens when we get closer to the race finish. Ford now 1.3 seconds behind Wogboy. He is purple to the middle sector. Doesn't necessarily have to pass Wogboy here. He could just stay behind him if he wanted to. Play it really safe. Darren 11, new fastest lap. 30.6. Bags Adele down the inside of Luke. Bags Adele is into P7. Ford, DRS open, is closing in on Wogboy. 4/10 is the gap as he sets a new fastest lap at 29.3. Into turn 1. He stays behind Wogboy. Doesn't go for the move. Stays behind. Up towards turn 4. You can see Ford having a look down the inside but not committing to the move. Around turn 5. Up towards turn 6. Around turn 9 now, up towards turn 10. Hard to mouth stuff here. Up towards turn 13. 40 cannot find a way by. He's close. He is so close to the back end of Wogboy. All it takes is one false move and his entire championship campaign can go up in smoke. He just needs to play smart. Doesn't need to do anything aggressive. Just play intelligently. DRS open. He switches it off. He lifts. He doesn't want to fight Wogboy here. Too dangerous, he says. We'll get through this. And then we'll battle. DRS open again. He switches on the battery. Draws alongside the Alfa Romeo. Ford gets by. It's P12. Bags Liddell. Overtaken by both Darren 11 and Sire Luke. He's now down to 9th. Wogboy, don't think he'll be able to counter-attack. A bit too far away. Try and counter, I would think. Got battery in hand. Looks to the inside, but does not commit to a move. Ford stays in P12. Leo doing an awesome job on those tyres. Leading the way. Maintaining pace as well. He's maintained about a 7/8 gap to Crichton. Hasn't let him gain any closer than that. Darren 11. Something's happened to Darren 11. He is around. He's hit the wall. There goes Silderfort. G-Force Ford will be closing in. No damage on the Alpha. He's all good. Shouldn't need a pit. Around the final corner and back onto the main straightaway. See, Plevs is close, but not quite close enough. Won't go for a move here. Into turn 1. It's now lap 22 of 25. We have got 4 laps to go. You can see Plevs on the back of Crichton there. Through turn 2. He has got pace. Through the S as we go. Around turn 6, around turn 7, around turn 8. Through turns 9 and 10, the gap's sitting at 7/10 between the top two. Liddell still on the back of Luke. This isn't quite over. Hillers is just behind in ninth as well. Crichton doing all he can. This is going to be a tight championship result. Very tight indeed. Tyres don't matter now, I would think. Except for maybe Leo. With those 3 seconds worth of penalties next to Leo's name, the results stand as they are. Crichton would take the win, but Plebs is having a go. He is on the back of Crichton's Mercedes. He wants to battle for the race win here. DRS open on Crichton's car. DRS open on Plebs' car. Plebs trying to look around the long way, but doesn't have the overspeed. Can't get it done. And now Leo's tyres, they are steadily dropping off. Crichton and Plebs are closing, even with all the battling. Down towards turn 1. DRS open on Crichton's car. Lap 23 now. We've got 3 laps to go. Can't quite go for the move. Liddell gets back at Luke. He moves himself into 7th. Luke can counter-attack. DRS open on Luke's car. Closing in, closing in, closing in. Not by enough though. Oh yes, by enough. Down the inside. He's going to have a look. Oh, but Liddell swoops around the long way to maintain position. Fantastic battling between these two. This might be close for the constructors as well. We've got a bit of math to do, folks, after this race. Because if Leo can keep those tyres in one piece and not get a puncture, he's set for a podium. Spicy with P5 as well. That would be 35 points in McLaren's favour. Bags is P7. That's 11. Plus... what's that? That would be 4 plus 1. 16 points. Oh, it's going to be close in both championships. It is going to be really close. Around the final corner and back onto the main straightaway. Leo still hanging on to the race lead. Crichton hanging on to second. It really does seem like Plebs has got the pace right now. 2 laps to go. Through turn 1, into turn 2. Luke closing in on Liddell. Heading around the final corner. Hillers is going to be right there with them. Down the main straightaway towards turn 1. Down the inside he looks. Gets in front. P7 is now Luke's. Liddell can fight back, and all 3 of these guys, they have the same penalty, 3 seconds each. So this is a genuine battle for P7 on track. Spicy's closing in on Karma. These are key points for the constructors. McLaren need to beat Ferrari by 24 points. The gap's sitting at 23. Because Ferrari have won more races, they will win on countback if it's a draw. Through the chicane. Now onto the back half of the racetrack. Spicy, he will be closing in. Hillers has overtaken Bags. Liddell as well. Another key position change for the Constructors' Championship. He's now down to 9th. The numbers matter. The numbers really, really do matter in this situation. It is all to play for. Who's got fastest lap as well? I want to check. Who's got it? It is Ford. All he needs is 12th. If Crichton wins this, all he needs is 12th. He's got 12th and fastest lap. In fact, no, he'll get 11th and fastest lap because of Darren's penalty. Through turns 1 and 2. Around turn 3, a big old wiggle from Crichton there. Keeps it tidy though. Players has a look but can't go for the move. Around turn 5, around turn 6. Around turn 7, turn 8 and turn 9. What a drive from Leo, I must say. Surviving that long on the mediums, he is doing brilliantly. Crichton, 6/10. He just needs to stay within 1 second. That's all he needs to do. Around turn 14, around turn 15 and 16. 17 as well for the final time. Half a second is the gap. 3/10 is the gap between Crichton and Plebs. All that Crichton needs to do, keep his eyes forward, not do anything silly. Through 22 and 23 for the final time. Plevs is not close enough to send it into the final corner. He is not close enough. That's right, Banana. Silderforth's got penalties too. They'll push him behind Ford too. Around the final corner for the final time. What a drive from Leo. It's really unfortunate that penalty's going to get in the way. It'll be GeForce Crichton who takes the win in Saudi Arabia. Now it's down to Ford to finish. And he's got company. He is directly behind Darren 11. He doesn't need to pass. He does not need to battle here. He just needs to remain calm and get around this final sector in one piece. Around the final corner for the final time. It has not been a great race from Ford by any means, but it's enough. GeForce Ford is a Pacific Tier 1 Drivers' Champion with 10th and 1 point for fastest lap. That should be enough. It's a 30-point swing in Crichton's favour with 10 points. Should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 1. It's a 23-point swing in Crichton's favour. Ford would win the championship by 4 points. 4 points. So, as well, going to have to do some number crunching for the constructors too. The gap between the top two and the constructors is 23 points. Bags Liddell, given driver of the day. Honestly, I would give it to GeForce Leo. That stint on the mediums was awesome. He did an awesome job on those tyres. Crichton did all he needed to do. He's walking down the aisle. This is win number 7 for Crichton. 1 short of Ford with 8 wins. Ford and Crichton have had the perfect season. The only 2 drivers to win Grand Prix Season 7 in Pacific Tier 1. Commendable effort though from Plevs. Was right there the whole day. I couldn't find a way by. P3 goes to GeForce Leo. Thanks to the time penalty that held him back. So, with P3 for Leo, that's 20 points. P5 for Spicy is 15. P10 with fastest lap, 7. I mean 7 as well. No, it's yeah, it's 7, isn't it? Hang on. I gotta whip out the table. I know these too well off by heart. So yeah, 7 points. It's a 21-point swing to McLaren. 21-point swing. Ferrari will win the Constructors' Championship by 2 points. What an unbelievable ending. My goodness. Ford wins the championship by 4. Ferrari win it by 2. Can't get much closer. Cannot get much closer. And I'd say this. I think the thing that ruined Crichton tonight was qualifying. Having to start from 9th in the sprint and work his way up. He put himself immediately on the back foot. He did a really good job recovering to 3rd. But yeah. That qualifying really did hold him back. But did all he could in the main race. Made the right calls at the right time and didn't make any mistakes. Alrighty. I'll invite the top 3 in, and I'll invite GeForce Ford in as well. so we can congratulate our drivers' champion. I'll be back in a few moments. Let's see here. I need Ford. I need Leo. I need Plebs? Where are you? You're not appearing online, Plebs. Oh, gee whiz. Just gotta make my life difficult. Problem with having a billion friends, it's tricky to go through everybody's profile. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Scroll. There we are. We'll invite these four in, we'll have a chat. Mr. Ford. Oh, hello. Mr. Leo. Hello, hello. Yeah, your audio is all good. I think everyone's audio should be alright. Yeah. Oh! Hello, hello, Mr. Race Spec.
Hello. How you going, Lane?
Not too bad. Not too bad. And hello, hello, Mr. Crichton. Well, thank you to all four of you for joining me here to answer some post-race questions. We'll start from third and we'll move our way up further north. But we'll start with you, Mr. Leo. That was a fine performance, making those tyres last that long and keeping up the pace as well in that last stint of the race. You did a really, really awesome job in the main race. But first of all, I'd just like to talk about qualifying. A P2 result for you in quali. Were you happy with the lap time?
I mean, lap time was okay, but the lap time of 40 was pretty crazy.
Stonking,
really
yeah.
Good. Yeah, I couldn't have done that. I could have done maybe 2 tenths quicker, but that was it.
No, but still, 27.9, you were pretty pleased with that? You were the only other driver in the 27s.
Yeah, it was alright. It
wasn't
a great lap.
Sprint race came along. How did that go for you in the sprint?
Not great. I mean, I made a small mistake and then I fell back behind the DRS train, and then after that I didn't want to pass Crichton because I knew he was trying to get the championship. But I just kind of chilled him behind.
Fair enough. But you started P2. You got jumped by Plebs at the start, and then eventually being overtaken by Crichton. But yeah, P4 result for you at the end of that one. But yeah, not much happened during that sprint.
Nah. It's pretty boring.
Fair enough. Main race though. Started from P4. How was the start for you? I believe you started on the hard. No, you you did start on the hard.
Yeah,
you got shafted on the opening lap, didn't you?
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know what happened with the formation lap, but I think I hit someone. I didn't feel a contact, but I got sent to the what's it called, the grid slot, and then I had like freezing cold tires, hard tires, and everyone's on mediums, so that was pretty horrible. And then what happened after that? I spun, and the safety car came out, and I think I went on sauce accidentally, and it was just a big mess. But I ended up starting the safety car last, which was fine, I guess.
But you were on the medium tyres, I think, then by that point, weren't you? Or yeah. So you had an almighty task in front of you to get to the end on those tyres. How were they?
They were actually pretty good.
Were they?
I didn't expect to even make it, to be honest, but they were only like 70% at the end. They were still pretty quick.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty surprising.
You reckon your car setup might have helped with that?
I don't know.
Don't know.
I didn't put too much time into making a setup because I couldn't have much time to practice, but it was surprising they didn't go off very fast.
Yeah, no, you kept up an awesome pace throughout those final stages. He always kept Crichton at about 7 to 8 tenths. He couldn't get much closer to you. Not until sort of the final stages of the event, where I think maybe the tyres started to chop off a little. Was that the case towards the final couple of laps?
Yeah, the tyres got a bit slower. Also, the two guys behind me were pushing more at the end because I was trying to overtake Zach. But yeah, I was just kind of sat. I wasn't using much ERS, just kind of chilling out in front. I had a penalty, so I think my fate was sealed at that point.
Man, you must have been a little bit upset with yourself once you crossed the line.
Yeah, a little bit. But still alright. Get the reset and come back next season.
That's it. I mean, that's all you can do, really. I mean, you drove a pretty bloody good race, especially after what happened during the formation lap and during the beginning phases where you dropped a ton of spots. To recover after a safety car period, manage your tyres, keep pace, lead the race for a substantial bit of time, and then ultimately cross the line first too. So
yeah, I wanted to get a win this season, but it didn't happen.
I'm sorry for you, bud. You definitely had the pace for it this year for sure. Just luck, circumstances get in the way, and this time it's a time penalty.
Yeah, it's annoying. I haven't got a time penalty in a while as well.
Oh, dude.
Nah, it's all good. I don't really mind.
I must say though, with your performance, you almost gave McLaren the constructors. It was close. Only missed out by 2 points.
Damn.
Yeah, not much in it. After what happened with 40 during that race, it was a real shot for you and Spicy to take the constructors, but only just missed out. So unlucky there. But you beat Spicy, I suppose. You're third in the Drivers' Championship.
Well, I didn't expect to beat him because all the stuff that went on at the start. Yeah. But the tyres just hanged on, and he didn't actually catch that much on the softs.
No.
Pretty easy for him.
Yeah, his pace was good for about 2 or so laps, and the pace really started to even out from the looks of things. So.
Yeah, the softs are just not good.
Keen for a break though? Keen to just kick up your feet for a little bit?
Yeah, that'd be good. Chill out.
Get ready for the Chrissy period.
Yeah.
Well, mate, it's not the season you probably would have wanted, but there were still many highlights for you to look at. And you've definitely dramatically jumped up in terms of performance from last season. You've really clicked with this game. So, no, awesome stuff from you this season. Unfortunate you couldn't get a race win, but you're definitely proving yourself to be a top-tier racer. So congratulations, mate, on the season, and congrats on P3.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I had a lot of fun this season.
But, we'll move on to P2. Mr. Race Spec. Hello.
Hello.
You're
How are we
P2.
doing? I am P2 in both races.
Not bad.
Yeah, pretty happy with it's a good way to finish the season. Yeah, I was pretty annoyed after last week after crashing out in Australia. So I did a bit more practice this week, and I'm like, look what happens when I actually put in effort.
It's amazing, isn't it? Just when you're in the zone, you understand what you're doing, understand what the car's doing. It can all just click. Did pretty well for you in qualifying. P5 result. Happy with that?
Yeah, I was very happy with the lap. I managed to get three runs in, probably just. I think I might have been the last person across the line. I thought I might have been too close to Hiles, but I think I improved by like 3/10 on my last run, and I think I did a 28.1, which is like 9/10 quicker than what I did on Sunday. So therein lies the practice. I was very happy with that P5, and then I got a giga launch in the sprint and was somehow P2.
What?
I don't know why. Like, my first phase seemed to be the same as the other guys, and then like second phase, I just killed the guys ahead, and it was weird. But Seb, who was ahead of me, said he got a really bad second phase launch. So I just took advantage and went around them all, and yeah, it's P2, and I didn't really have the pace for Bailey to match Bailey. He was gone. Yeah, I basically, like, I think it was second or third lap. Like before the DRS came, I was dumping my battery to try and keep up, and no chance. So yeah, I was pretty happy to get P2 in that one. Darren overtook me with DRS, and then I got him on the last, like, straight towards the line. So yeah, fair play to him leaving the room on the exit of last corner. Yeah. So yeah, that was a really good battle. And then, yeah, I don't know. Do you want to know about everything? My whole race?
Yeah, go for it. Okay.
Well, my plan in the Grand Prix was to do medium soft actually. So, and I know Bailey was going to do that as well. I think Seb still did that. But then, like, kind of gives you the flexibility if there's an early safety car to go on to hards, which is what happens, and you can go down pretty easy on them. Yeah. I was a bit nervous because I didn't really do any practice on the hards, so I wasn't really sure. But yeah, no, they were fine, and Zach got past me on the restart, safety car restart. I'm like, yeah, alright, just go, and and then yeah, Leo came through the pack, got a penalty, and then he was behind me, and I don't really know what happened between turn 3 and 4, but somehow Leo overtook both of us. Yeah, I think there was a little bit of gamesmanship there, a little bit of lift from Zach to let Leo through, and I was kind of boxed in because Leo had the overlap already, so yeah. Yep. I wasn't too happy about that at the time because, yeah, it would have been good to battle with Zach for the win, and as it was, like, sorry to burst Leo's bubble, but like the pace was so slow in the last 5 laps. Like I was just stuck, and I couldn't do anything as a third car in the train. So yeah, I gave it a go on the second last lap and just couldn't get past. I'm like, oh, alright, P2 it is. But yeah, it would have been good for someone else to win a race other than Zach and Bailey this season. But I guess they won all of them. Yeah, and but yeah, I have to say a big congratulations and fair play to both those guys. Like in a field like with that much talent, and to win every race and be that consistent, like they are just on another level and have been absolute aliens this season. And for the championship to come down to the last race is awesome as well. They both had some really bad luck. Bailey nearly threw it away tonight even, so he's a bit lucky. But yeah. Just massive congrats, and yeah, Zach didn't get the 7 championships in a row, but I think over the course of Pacific Series history, I think Bailey probably deserves a championship, so I'm happy for him. And well done to Leo on P3 as well. Like him and Seb were tied on points, and he did what he needed to do from the back of the grid. So yeah, shows that he's, like you said, is probably for me most improved this season. Not like he was always quick, but yeah, in terms of like being consistent and getting good results, he's still probably got a little bit to do in that area. He probably should have won a couple of races this season, but yeah, hopefully he can be match the other two next season. So yeah, I'm just stoked we can have such a competitive field of drivers. So yeah, I'm working hard to even make it more competitive next season. So yeah, always trying to improve and make it better. But yeah, that's it.
But, this would be your final race of the season, wouldn't it?
Yeah, whereas everyone's, well, yeah, I don't know what everyone else is doing, but I'm not racing again, so yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah, we're not. We kind of wrapped up endurance. Yeah, you would have known that. So yeah, I'm not really doing anything else in terms of racing at the moment.
Yeah. No, nice way to end off the season though. 2 podium place finishes in Elite and Tier 1 as well. So definitely stepped up tonight. As you said, huge improvement in qualifying.
Yeah.
In the race, awesome. Those starts were incredible. You kept up a good pace. It's not like you just fluked a second, you actually were there. So, no, it was really mega performance from you tonight. No, I'm assuming you're pretty keen for a Chrissy break as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's been far out. Yeah, I'm drained. I'm like trying to work out how much time I'm going to take off over Christmas at the moment. Yeah.
But, no, congratulations, mate, on a P2 finish, and congrats to making it to the end of the season, I suppose.
Yep.
In one piece.
Yep. Yeah, no, we had no break this season, which is, in hindsight, I think I said this to you on another stream, but yeah, we'll make sure we have breaks in future, because, yeah, definitely grinds you down a little bit, so, yeah.
But no, congrats on the result, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the race winner. Mr. Crichton.
Lane.
Did everything you could in the main race, mate. Qualifying shafted you.
Yeah, no, that was my fault. I just didn't put in the laps tonight. And I was still trying to make my setup when we actually started the quali session, and just was not how I like it. It was just had no front end or nothing, and I was down in P9, and I was like, yep, alright. But yeah, it's, like, weirdly I'd say qualifying P9 actually helped me like focus and actually try to climb back up the pack, so yeah.
Fair enough. Because that's exactly what you had to do.
Yeah, I hope you saw my turn 1.
I saw a lot of people's turn 1, Mr. Crichton. I don't know if I saw yours directly.
Yeah.
But
yeah, when I passed 3 cars.
Quite a few, you did gain quite a few. I was more captivated by the fact that Plez moved from 5th to 2nd, just out of nowhere. I saw that. But yeah, I noticed you gained quite a few spots on the opening lap.
Yeah, I managed to pass 3 cars, and then I managed to get Seb as well last corner, so I was at 4 in 1 lap. Yeah. And then just have to slowly chip away and just make sure that I didn't get a pen was the main goal. Yeah. There in that sprint. Then yeah, when I got to 3rd, and then I saw Race had a pen. Yeah, I knew that was probably the best spot for me starting P3 as well, heading into the main race, so I was quite happy with that salvage, considering I was, what, 9/10 off in quali or something.
Something ridiculous.
Yeah, long way off, so I was quite satisfied with that drive back in that sprint.
Yeah, absolutely. But, it meant it gave you more work to do in the main race.
Yep.
How was the start for you?
Start was actually really good. Yeah, I managed to get Matt, I think it's a turn 4 or something, so he backed off and I was like, thank you, Matt.
Yeah, well, you have
because we were going to have a crash there, I was always going to turn in. And then I knew that I had to get Bailey straight away, so I used one of my warnings straight away through that corner, and then I got him. And yeah, that's kind of where my race was set up, I guess, from there.
Yeah, and Bailey had a few battles on the opening lap.
Yeah.
Little exchange for turns 1 and 2 that saw nearly both of you off the racetrack.
Yeah, no, I found my racecraft again tonight, which has been lacking all season, so yeah, no, I was quite happy that I found that tonight, which I've been lacking all season, and it just shows that if I can use that, then it does make people make mistakes, so I definitely need to bring that back in and use that to my advantage in the future.
Virtual safety car was deployed during the race.
Yeah,
you were making
pretty early
speed entry, and you decided to pit.
Yeah, see, I wasn't too sure on that one. Like, it was a bit of a gamble. I was like, should I stay out and try and toy with Bailey, which I probably should have in hindsight. But then it kind of worked out because I boxed, and then the hards actually didn't wear because I had no idea if the hards were going to wear or not. And then they didn't, which was great for me. And then unfortunately there was a safety car like the next lap or something.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh, maybe since I had that VC I might be able to still hold the lead, but no. Went back to P3 or something it was for the main race start, and yeah, and then I saw Bailey got wing damage on the safety car, which I was pretty pleased about. I saw that and I was like, thank you very much, because that's a P2 restart there for me behind Matt net basically, and yeah, that was good.
But how was that phase after the restart on the new tyre?
Yeah, the hards were pretty cold, not gonna lie, there wasn't much grip, and I think my thing is I had 2 warnings by lap 6, so I was being very cautious, just trying to drive quite slow through first sector and just a few corners in the last sector as well, so I was just trying to stay alive there, because I knew that if I got a pen that it was all done for me in that race, so yeah, that was my main goal, just try and not get that last warning. But now the hards, they were, I don't know, not too bad once they warmed up actually. They kept getting faster and faster. I set my fastest time towards the end there, but yeah, no, they weren't too bad. And then Leo managed to catch up.
Yeah. Just before that though, your teammate didn't make it easy to get by you at turn 2.
Yeah, I know, I don't know what he's doing. I've got no slipstreams all season, he's made it hard for me to pass all season too. And on top of that, he's taken Lewis Hamilton's seat as well. So yeah, I don't know what he's doing or who he thinks he is, but yeah, I know I'm in the Russell car. Yeah, I don't know why he made it hard for me, but it's alright. I'm sure I'll have a different teammate next season, but you know, managed to get past him cleanly, which was good. That was the main thing, just no damage, and then yeah, move forward from there.
Yeah, you weren't quite able to break away from players, and eventually they caught up on those medium compound tyres.
Yep.
Plad's mentioned it before, but there was a bit of gamesmanship between turns 3 and 4.
Yep.
You were in front of players, Leo was drawing alongside players, and you decided to check up a little bit, try and let Leo through.
No, that's what you call a high racing IQ there, Lane. Because I knew that I had to box Matt in there, and then if I could let Leo by, then I just use his DRS, and I knew that would pull me to the win. So I knew that was where my race would be set up from that point right there.
Well, you're more ideally looking at the prospect of pulling away from players, so rather than still having him in your tow. Yeah,
kind of initially, yeah, and stuff, but I knew Matt was pretty quick, and like around this track, it's so hard to break away unless you just use all the battery on the first lap of the race.
Yeah.
So I knew that if I could stay with Leo and charge, I don't know, just have like 40-50% battery, then that's all I would need to stay behind Leo there.
Yeah. So throughout those sort of final stages of the race, it was essentially just keeping out of trouble. You mentioned you were on 2 warnings, so there was
I just used
management there.
Yeah, exactly. No, I just used Leo as a little benchmark for me, so I could take it slower for the corners and just roughly guess. Just off him and then just hold Matt back. That was really my main strat through there. But yeah, no, it worked out really good. Yeah,
it did, because Matt never really got himself into a position to try and have a crack at you, and unfortunately for players, the laps ticked down to 0 and the checkered flag came out and you were the winner.
Considering 7th win and starting P9 in the sprint, you know, to win that with my slow pace, I think I'll take that, you know. Shows my grit, I'd say, in that race, and want to try and win the title. But yeah, no, I did everything I could tonight. Coming back to P3 in the sprint and then just winning the main. But yeah, no, quite happy because I think I was 3 points behind or something.
You're all 4 points
I think,
off.
Yeah, after the championship, and I know where those points are anyway at Mexico, so I'm not too concerned. But hats off to Bailey as well in the championship. His pace has been mega all season, especially in quali. Smoked me. I got nothing for him in quali. I don't know where to find that. I should probably play the game more than half an hour before. Might help. But Bailey's. I just need to find that zone again. But I'm happy that I found it tonight with the racecraft. And GG's to Bailey, and it's been a good season. So if I take my 7 wins, then I'm happy that I won at Spain. That's my main thing.
I bet it stings a bit though, doesn't
it? Yes and no, because I know where the points are, so I'm not really too concerned. And like I've won it that many times, it's good to have someone else up there challenge me for it and actually, run it down to the last race. But like I said, I know where those 23 points are, so I'm not too concerned.
You hungry for next season though?
I don't know. It's a weird feeling right now because we've kind of it's weird, like I just don't really feel nothing, so I'd say no at this stage. I need to find some hunger again. I don't know if I need to step away or where I need to go to find that hunger that I used to have when I was racing other people. So I think it hurts because I'm friends with all the boys, so it's hard for me to get in that zone, which I need to find again. But I don't know, it's just something that I need to work on. But it'll be good stuff next season. But this game in general, I'd say probably hasn't suited me the best with the cars and not having to play it heaps in the setups, and I just don't really like the car when there's not much of a front end. But it's been not too bad of a season, Lane. 7 wins, like you said, and I think I've had like 1 or 2 poles, so I think I've raced pretty good, besides the luck in the racecraft a few times where I should have won, but it's all good. We'll fix that up.
Glad to have a break though.
Oh, 100%, 15 weeks in a row. I'm kind of sick of this game, to be honest. And like not having any motivation as well, and having to do 15 in a row does make it hard. So I'm definitely looking forward to stepping away and letting the sim collect some dust. Nah, it's all good, mate. But definitely looking forward to letting the sim sit here for 2 months and do nothing and not touch it. And And finally, cheers to you, Lane, for commentating as well. It's been a really good season. So thank you for it. Yeah, no, it's been good to talk to you. That's the main reason I race, is just to come talk to you.
Oh, that's awfully sweet of you.
No, it's true, but, you know, it's so true. I wouldn't race if there wasn't any post-race interviews.
Oh, well, I better keep doing them, I suppose.
You better, you know, that's a little threat there for you.
Well, Mr. Crichton, you did all you could, and you fell just short. We did,
but it's alright, we'll be back, don't you worry, mate.
Alrighty, man. Well, congratulations on your race win here at Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you couldn't quite make it in the championship, but still, well done.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to our crown champion, Mr. Ford. Last season, you said to me that you were going to go for it. You went for it. And you've won. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Lane. Thank you. It was, yeah, I did say that. I was pretty committed to it after, you know, getting a new wheel and stuff. And yeah, it paid off. It paid off, as you said. So yeah, you know, a bit of dedication and stuff, and it gets us over the line.
Mate, your form as of recently has been exceptional, to say the least. Qualifying. You know, we saw your lap times. Your first lap time that popped up was a 27.8, and that got people buzzing in the chat straight away because we knew that was a quick lap. Then you pull out the mother and father of all flying laps at the end of that session with a 27.4. You found half a second on P2. How in the hell did you do that?
Mate, Lane, I truly can't tell you, man. It's, yeah, a complete opposite to what Zach's been saying about how, you know, the game doesn't really suit his driving style. This one has suited mine, and, yeah, the setups and everything that comes with it. Yeah, the thing was on rails here tonight. Yeah. And I think qualifying showed that. I mean, to be half a second clear of yeah, the guy behind me was yeah, pretty comforting, I think.
It was nuts. I couldn't believe the gap when it popped up. I couldn't believe the lap time when it popped up. Just to be that much faster.
It hooked up.
Was nuts.
It hooked up.
The rest of it was decently tightly packed for the length of the racetrack. You found half a second somehow.
It's been those final runs. I don't know what it is. I just get my head in the zone, and yeah, I'm able to produce a really good lap. I mean, I think that was my 11th pole of the season now, which is just crazy. I mean, I've never really been a qualifying man up until this season. I think before this I'd only had like 5 or 6 poles or something like that. So I've already doubled it in one season. So I mean, yeah, whatever's happened this season, my head's clicked, my hands are clicked with the wheel. It's gone pretty well for me.
Mate, your sprint race clicked.
Yeah, the sprint races, they're either good or they're bad. There's no second place in them, mate.
No, I guess not. 5.6 seconds was the gap at the end. You cleared away.
Yeah.
Sailed off.
I knew I needed to break that DRS by lap 3. Matt was begging to keep in it, but yeah, you know, I just had to get away from it. And once I was away, I was just, I think, basically showing that qualifying pace again, just in the race.
It was like that scene in Titanic where it's like, you know, don't leave me, Jack. I was like,
Don't leave me.
Bailey.
Bailey
I
just sailing off.
couldn't sit there. Yeah.
But mate, your head and the race clicked together in the sprint. The main race was full of mixed emotions, man.
Yeah, a bit of hard work.
Mother of Christ. That main race, like, initial start, brilliant. You know, got a decent enough launch. You were battling Crichton in the opening laps. You two got together pretty close every so often. But you kept it together in the opening laps.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. We did keep it together, and that I knew that's all I really needed to do until that VSC came out. And yeah, I wasn't really planning on. I wasn't going to pit either way. even if Zach stayed out, I probably would have stayed out as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the safety car came out, so yeah, it kind of changed up my strategy a little bit.
Did it? What?
Yeah, it did just quietly. Obviously the moment I hit the wall, you know, my initial reaction was, you know, everything's gonna be okay. You know, I still got it. It's okay. And then as I dropped to the back of the field, I realised how far back I actually was, like 20 seconds back after that safety car restart. I was like, geez, this is pretty, yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. So I was just trying to work out the points in my head while I was doing, you know, just doing laps. There was no reason to drive outrageously fast because, you know, it wasn't going to get me anywhere really. It was just, you know, do those laps that are 2 tenths slower than what I can be doing, but just keep the car on the track really. And I worked it out that, you know, if I stay P13 with fastest lap, I would have got it anyway. Yeah, and there were only 13 drivers left.
Yes.
So, yeah, I did get a bit lucky there with that crash and safety car restart with Roscoe and I can't remember who the other one was. Ferrari Pro there. But yeah, thankfully we did end up gaining 3 positions anyway.
But I'll take you through that safety car period because I noticed you three, I think I was keeping an eye on Crichton because you two were leaving the pits. I was seeing where Crichton would end up. And then you did a lap, I think. And coming through that same section while I was talking, I noticed your car was ghosting. At least I thought it was ghosting. It looked like it was ghosting. And I started rambling on about something. 2 people in the chat pointed out you had a missing end plate. I didn't even notice. I flipped back to you. I'm like, oh my god, you've broken your wing. Oh my god.
Definitely wasn't there. Yeah, then, Matt made a mistake in front, and I basically just did the exact same thing as he did, but my car went the other way. His went into the clean side of the track, mine went straight to the wall.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
But mate, the bit that sold it though, I was talking about this is going to hurt, this is going to drop you back, this is really going to affect your championship. Race control, safety car in this lap.
Yeah.
Oh, this has gone from bad to a lot flipping worse for Ford. And then, Roscoe Arm and Ferrari Pro had their incident at turn 2, I think it was, turn 3, which helped you out in terms of the math of the whole thing. You did have one moment, though, I did catch at the exit of turn 17. In turn 17, if you come out of the long left-hand sweeper after the S's, all right, you go around the right-hander into the short left, then you got the chicane. So the chicane is turn 16, and the left-hander is turn 17. I caught you having a huge slide at the exit of that corner.
I don't know how you've managed to catch that, because that would have been my only other mistake all race. I promise you that. That was kind of the moment where I was like, okay, let's just drive, you know, to what we can drive instead of pushing really hard. So yeah, I don't know how you managed to catch that one, but yeah, that was a massive snap. That definitely changed my mindset for sure.
Mate, I'm probably the reason why it happened, because I was looking at it. Commentators curse.
I think I was in no man's land at the time. It was probably 5 laps after the safety car restart.
I think I flicked to you because I was talking about the points. I was trying to work out the points by that point, because I wanted to keep an eye on the racing first. I was initially going to go through the points just after the restart because I knew you were in quite a bad situation. But I'm like, nah, screw it. I'm going to talk about the racing first. Wait for it to die down, and then we can start worrying about the championship. And I flicked to you to talk about you, and I saw you had that moment.
Yeah, mate. As I said, it opened my eyes a little bit. It was, and especially when, like, I'd already done the calculations in my head, and I kind of knew that I had it. I don't know why I felt the need to do that. So yeah,
mate.
So we clearly learned from that mistake.
Had my heart in my mouth, and I think I said. I can't remember what I said. Actually, I can't think of it off the top of my head. But man, that was a moment and a half. But you caught it. That was the main thing, I suppose. But you then, kept out of trouble from the rest of that race. I didn't pick up on anything bad on your end, so you kept out of trouble. You eventually moved on to the soft tyre, because you moved back onto the mediums to replace your front wing. Moved on to the soft, you secured fastest lap. I think you got that point. Yeah, you did get that point.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And then I think Wogboy had a moment, and that drew him close to you. You passed him. And then eventually had Darren 11 in front of you, giving you one small obstacle to worry about on the final lap.
Yeah, just to make my life a little bit more difficult. No, it was, yeah, like, obviously I knew I didn't have to get overtaken if I didn't want to, but obviously you want to try to get up as high as you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, end of the day, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
No, you ended up passing both Darren and Silderfort in the final results, giving you 10th place, 7 points, and enough to secure not only the Drivers' Championship, but Ferrari also secured the Constructors by 2.
Yeah, there you go. It was pretty tight then.
Yeah.
Very tight. Glad I was able to get those positions in the end.
Must have been quite a nice feeling coming out of the final corner.
Yeah, it's as Zach said, it's been a long season. So yeah, no, it was a massive relief, and yeah, Zach's kept me on my toes for a while. So yeah, it's good to be over.
Yeah, fair enough. But eight wins and 11 poles. You said 11.
Yeah,
Out of 15 races, mate.
Definitely been my most successful season. For sure. Yeah, no doubt in that.
You have come in and you have done supremely well this season,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Ford.
Thank you. I had to, as you said, stick up to my word. On
Yeah,
the back of last season, I felt annoyed after last season. You know, I felt like I had the pace, but probably where Zach was this season. You know, where he's able to fight, but like when you look at it in the grand scheme of things again, that you know there's just one driver who's quicker. I feel like this season I was that quicker driver, like he was last season. So yeah, I'd be interested in heading into the next one. Seeing again probably a bit more of a competitive grid again, but no, it's been a great season for sure. And yeah, as I said, due to Zach, he's kept me on my toes throughout the season. Same with like the likes of Leo and the rest of the grid.
Keen for the break?
Yeah, just as keen as Zach is, I think. Yeah, it's been a long 15 weeks, yeah.
Well, Mr. Ford, congratulations on the season. You are Season 7 Pacific Tier 1 Drivers Champion. Well done.
Thank you very much, Lane. Cheers for the commentary this season as well, and thanks to Marco as well. I know he's not here, but yeah, both you guys did an awesome job throughout the season.
Yeah, I want to echo that too, Bailey. Yeah, Lane, really big thank you to you, and Marco as well. Like, obviously, it makes racing so much better being able to watch it back, and you bring the races to life in a way that I don't think I've seen anyone else do. Like, I think as good as these guys are at driving, you're also that level of commentator, that top tier, yeah, and really makes the league like probably the best in the country in my opinion. Anyway, it's probably a bit biased, but yeah. So thank you, mate. You're a big part of that, and you give up a lot of time to do that. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much, fellas. It's quite nice of you. But I do it because I love doing it, and it's a lot of fun watching you fellas race. You put on a hell of a show, and it's been one hell of a season as well. Full of ups and downs, twists and turns, and at the end of the day we have crowned a new Drivers' Champion. Ferrari have claimed the Constructors' title, and we've had one upside down, topsy-turvy race in Saudi Arabia to end things off. Quite the season indeed, but it has finally come to an end. And I think now it's time for us to end the stream and end what has been another fantastic season of racing here on Race Spec Esports. I'm LaneEveringham, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, whenever that may be, it's goodbye.